I'd like to talk about when I'm feeling low, what I do to help myself. But before I do that, I would like to introduce myself. I'm Ghazala at the Heart and Soul Cafe. If you've been here before, thank you so much for coming back. And if you're here for the first time, then you're very, very welcome. Now, I've talked about similar things in previous videos about my own mental health and some of my struggles. But in this video, I'd like to talk about what I do when I'm feeling low. Now, one thing that I find about myself is that when I'm in a professional sort of situation, when I'm working, I tend to show up quite well as I need to professionally, even if I'm really sort of struggling. When it comes to my mental health first aid delivery, the courses that I deliver, especially face to face, I can just get ready in the morning and I'm ready to go, and I can put on my professional hat, my mental health first aid hat, and I can go and I can work and I can deliver. And by the end of the day, actually, even though I'm talking about mental health, I might actually start feeling a lot better. And the reason for that is because I'm connecting with others. When I'm connecting with other people and we're sort of sharing our life and sharing our stories and talking about, although I'm talking about mental health and I'm talking about very emotive subjects like, depression, anxiety, suicide, psychosis, bipolar, all sorts of things that I'm talking about. But having said that, it's actually connecting with others and having that meaningful, in-depth kind of conversations, which gives you that sense of meaning and purpose and then puts things back into perspective for you and actually makes you feel better. Other times when I'm counselling, if I'm not in a good headspace, I might reschedule that appointment or those appointments for that day. Reason being that if I'm not feeling quite myself that day and feeling a bit vulnerable or feeling a little bit tearful that day, listening to somebody else and somebody else's struggles isn't always going to, I'm not probably going to receive it in the way that I would like to and be that support for that person. And you might think, well, yeah, we're all human. Yes, we are. But it just depends on how I'm actually feeling, because I will sort of assess that in the morning that day. And if I'm really thinking, I don't think today's going to be a good day for me counselling, then it doesn't happen very often. But I will be honest with my clients and sort of reschedule and tell them why I'm rescheduling. And I've already introduced myself in my intro. They know, and I've shared my story with them, so they know that I'm grieving myself as well. And they'll respect me for that rather than just show up and just tick boxes, because that's not really what that's about. I don't want to just show up and tick boxes. If I'm going to show up, I want to be 100%, or then, just reschedule, just do it another day. So I think, when I'm feeling low, I first have to recognize that I am actually feeling low that day, and I'm not going to maybe show up in the way that I would like to. So, just sort of going through the role that day isn't really what I feel that I should be doing or that I want to be doing. If I'm going to do something, I'd like to give my 100% to it. Otherwise, I sort of tend not to do it. So there is that as well. So I would, be honest with myself. Be honest with myself, and then honest with others. So when I'm feeling low, and then, I found that other people, if someone asks you, how are you? And you say, well, actually, I'm not that good. Sometimes people do try and fix things for you, don't they? And they'll say, oh, maybe you should just go to the gym and, go swimming or go for a walk and do this and just meet up with a friend. And why don't you come over? Or why don't we come up, and that kind of thing. And you think, well, I really don't have the energy to do that. when you are feeling low, sometimes you don't want to make just general chit chat with people. It's not really what you want to be doing. It doesn't feel it doesn't feel that that's going to make you feel any better. Sometimes, you know, you might surprise yourself and it might do, but other times you will just avoid you will avoid getting into that situation. You won't want to do anything at all. Other times it might mean that you just, you know, watch a bit of TV, you just relax that day, you sort of put things on hold, you think, well, I can just maybe take the day off today and just sort of try and recharge my batteries that way. But it is, isn't it? It's knowing what it is that you want and need. It's all about self-advocacy, so that you put into place what it is that you need, want, and deserve. And we all deserve to have what we need to progress, to strive, to do best, to do the best we can possibly do, especially when we're grieving, especially when we have, you know, particular mental health struggles, let's say, whatever it is. And most of us are carrying something, so we can cut ourselves some slack, and we can, you know, say and admit that, you know, I'm struggling today, and that's okay, because we can all struggle. And it's, you know, there's nothing to be ashamed of. There's nothing to be, it's not, you know, a weakness. It's not a sign of weakness. So it's actually a sign of strength, isn't it? Because it takes some courage to say, you know, I need a little bit of help, or, you know, I'm not, you know, I'm struggling. I'm not okay today. I don't feel that good today. And, you know, I think, because I've talked about this before in previous videos, that there's certain things that I do to help me with my mental health. And I've talked about my breathing, you know, breath work in the morning, meditation, maybe prayer in the morning, maybe then later on, maybe, you know, going for a walk, being around nature can sometimes really help recharge your batteries and make you feel better. Especially if it's a lovely day like it is here in London. You know, at the moment it's really lovely weather. So, you know, it might mean, you know, doing something like that, going out. It might be meeting up with that friend that you can have a serious sort of meaningful conversation with. I have friends that I can have those meaningful conversations with. I also have friends that I can be sort of silly with and just have a joke around with. So it depends on my mood. What do I need? And it sounds a bit selfish, doesn't it? It does sound a bit selfish saying that, but sometimes you do have to be a little bit selfish, thinking about what it is that you need. Because if you're not going to look after yourself, then how are you going to show up for anyone else? And in my line of work, in mental health first aid, in counselling, in my charity work, here as well, how am I going to be of any support to anybody else who reaches out to me and says, I'm struggling, I need some help? How am I going to help that person if I haven't helped myself? How is that going to happen? It's not, is it? I'm going to burn out, I'm going to emotionally, break down, I won't be able to, be of any help to anyone. So it's really important to look after yourself, to put things into place that you need, want, and deserve. So all about self-advocacy is really, really important. And it's something that I do. And it's not me being selfish, it's me being selfless. Because if I don't look after myself, how am I going to help others? It's that analogy, isn't it, about the aeroplane being in turbulence and, the gas masks come down. Who do you put the mask over first? The child that's next to you or yourself? Will you put it over yourself first so that you can help that child next to you and you can help others around you? You're not going to be of any help if you've passed out in the aisle, in the turbulent plane. So yeah, it's looking after yourself. It's putting yourself first sometimes, but putting yourself first in a way that then you are looking after that tool. And for me, my mind, my own mental and physical health is my tool so that I can help others. without this, not going to happen. I'm not going to be any use to anyone else. Okay. I hope you found the content of this video helpful. Please do share it. Please do like, subscribe, do comment. And yeah, those of you who have already subscribed, thank you so much. I really, really appreciate it. But we do need many, many more in order to build this platform, in order to, you know, build this community that I so much would like to do, to, you know, for us to be there for each other and help each other out and be a support to each other. That's really what I'm looking to do here. Thank you so much for watching this video. I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Until then, look after your hearts and souls.